Baltimore on the offensive side of the ball that way and trying to find ways to figure out who they are. I think they're trying to have an identity search because they're two different offenses. When Henry's in there, Henry goes in, he runs the ball well, and then they go away from him. You know, they lose in late leads. So if I'm Dallas, I'm saying, hey, defensively, we should be able to get out after this team. We have a clear advantage of Michael Parsons on the right side of that Ravens offensive line.
You know what's interesting, Greeny, is Baltimore's been able to move the ball 499 yards, fourth most in the league, but Lamar only has 2 passing touchdowns. To me, this is going to come down to the red zone. And Bart, I do agree with you. There's some tendencies there with Derrick Henry, but I do think the Ravens with 3 new offensive stars, and unfortunately, their offensive line coach passed away in August, so I do think it's going to get better. That's a meaningful part of their game plan. But to me, on Sunday, Dallas, they can give up the yards. They have to be better in the red zone.
Can I show you a statistic? Sure. Because the Dallas side of this is one thing, and the other side of it is the Ravens, who we were all talking about like a Super Bowl team before the year began.
Yeah.
If they lose this Sunday, in this century, in this millennium, teams that have started 0-3 are 1 and 129 as far as their chances of making the playoffs. You see there, the 2018 Texans are the only ones to do it. So, yeah, Dan, we talk about must-win games. History tells us this is a must-win game for Baltimore.
Yeah, the problem is they're not together yet, right? Like I think it's a mistake to assume that because the Saints ran all over the Cowboys, the Ravens will.
Right.
Because the Saints offense right now is locked in. I mean, their offensive line, their blocking schemes, everybody has bought in, and they are functioning at a high level. Mike T's point, Baltimore Ravens, 3 new starters on the offensive line. It hasn't gelled yet, and as a result, they're limited in what they can call and run on offense. We talked in week 1 on this show a couple weeks ago about how they're still figuring out how to deploy Derrick Henry. Can they run him out of the shotgun, or do they have to go under center more? Whichever the answer is, someone's going to be uncomfortable. So I think the Ravens are in some trouble. And if they lose this game, their next 2, I believe, are Buffalo and Cincinnati. I mean, it could go off the rails. So it's an important game for them. I just don't feel like they're where they need to be right now to play such an important game.
Put the picks up on the screen if we can as we continue going through it. RC, how do you see it?
You know what? I have Baltimore. I think Baltimore goes into Dallas and finds a way to win. When you think about Lamar Jackson, what he's done, especially in the regular season, and John Harbaugh understanding how to fix issues, I believe they get this issue fixed enough to win this week with the banged-up Jake Ferguson, with the banged-up CeeDee Lamb, and a lack of weapons for the Dallas Cowboys. Defensively, Zach Orr gets some plays made, but I believe it's Lamar Jackson finding Zay Flowers, which we saw start to excel in the second half against the Raiders, that helps his team win.
What does it look like, Bart? I see you've got the Ravens, but what does it look like? What these last couple of Cowboy defensive games have looked like?
Well, for me, I think the running yards will be there because Lamar Jackson's going to put that cape on and understand how the situation is. Now, I don't know if this is a must-win. It's a need to win because the Bengals aren't running away with the division. We know who the Steelers are paper snap right now. You know, but I believe that, it's important for Lamar Jackson to make sure that he gets downhill, and I think he takes over.
You just upset Ryan Clark. Very quickly, you guys have why the Cowboys? 10 seconds.
Because, again, I think Baltimore's going to have trouble scoring once they get to the red zone.
10 seconds. Why?
Dak's 28-11 coming off a loss. I'm just saying.
Well, what's Lamar against the NFC?
The stats are all over the place. Okay, we'll see. We'll have much more on these games. Oh, by the way, it's a great college weekend that we have coming your way, and we have a triple header on ABC tomorrow. We got Clemson, NC State, and noon Eastern. That's followed by LSU and UCLA, and then the nightcap. How about this game? Tennessee in Norman to take on Oklahoma as the Sooners join the SEC. Special day of college football. Special night for Aaron Rodgers last night. Oh, he was on full display. Oh, what a night for the suddenly soaring Jets. We will be very restrained in our commentary as we continue on ESPN.
Starbucks cold brew? In a can? What else might be possible? Perhaps finding a dog twin. Too good to be true can be true. New Starbucks cold brew.
We've never spoken, but you've told us many things. That you love stargazing, hate parallel parking, and occasionally your right foot gets a little heavy. The Lexus ES didn't begin in the studio, it began with you.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. CJ Stroud putting up points with My Lowe's Rewards.
He is really cleaning up. Come on, man. It's the cart. He's got all the cleaning supplies in his cart.
In store, online, our Lowe's team has you covered.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush, Oral-B Electric cleans better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist-inspired room brusher comes in 100% cleaner teeth. Your perfect clean starts with Oral-B.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. Because it's the things you make. Show that you made it. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Medallion, the mark of a fighter.
Amazon Q from AWS is the new generative AI-powered assistant for using your company's data, saving apps, and making decisions. Here's what it's really well to explain. Basically, Amazon like my
You said today this is gonna be the first day they're using the fortified milk.
They also inspire my
Yeah, it should be starting today.
and even predict the future.
Man.
I definitely didn't predict that. What, the new tattoo? You like it though, right? Amazon Q, power generative AI, speed and security with AWS.
Check out Mahomes' top 3 plays up the deck. He scrambled to the T-Mobile to get that new iPhone 16 Pro on us. It's a little shimmy, shimmy, shake. What you think, huh? It's like you chasing an ice cream truck. Ice cream! He got his iPhone 16 Pro, the first iPhone built for Apple Intelligence. Cuz holding it up like a baby lion. Homie takes those T-Mobile savings and calls it a day. Respect. Now at T-Mobile.com, get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us. And families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? My car is starting kind of slow. Let's see. This needs a charge. It's free. Are you sure it's free? How's it?
Yo, these are prime time deals. This, or this? All for $5. Legendary. These deals, prime time, only at KFC. Way back, baby.
Cleaning your dog's teeth can be hard. But not with Greenie's dental treats. Greenie's, well-being made wonderful.
Homeowners, when your water or sewer line breaks, it's expensive and often not covered by basic homeowners insurance. You could pay thousands. Finding a good contractor can be tough. Want this guy doing the job? With a plan from HomeServe, call us. We'll send a contractor and there's no big bill. Easy. But don't wait. Get a plan from HomeServe before a line breaks. Go online now.
Plans from HomeServe start at just $7.99 a month. Call 1-833-458-0111 or visit homeserve.com.
We went with the website nuts.com because nuts and dried fruit and pretzels and trail mix and gummies and espresso beans and energy squares and fudge and jelly beans and a whole lot more .com was already taken. Get 20% off and free shipping on your first order at nuts.com.
What's the order?
50 cent boneless wings?
50 cent boneless wings on 2. Ready, break. 50 cent boneless wings every day, only at Applebee's.
We are back on Get Up as we begin hour number 2. We're live from the Seaport. We're brought to you by Grey Goose. We are loaded up this morning. Ryan Clark is with us with his football group. It's a full-scale football Friday, but there's really only one place that we can begin, and that is with what may very well have been the greatest individual performance that any player has ever had on any day in American sports. Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers visiting the Marlins, top of 1, no score. We're just getting started. That one might be, it could be, it isn't. It's a double that's going to go off the wall. Ohtani at second, and later in the inning, he's still at second, and then all of a sudden, he isn't at second anymore. He's going to take off for third and steal his 50th base of the year. Dan, it's a close. Look at that nice slide.
A good throw, and the tag dismissed. I mean, Shohei's got some Jedi mind tricks going on. He's making people miss tags and stuff.
He would add another steal later in the game. Now, to the 6th inning we go. Dodgers are up 7-3. He's got the 50 steals. So the question is, can he hit 2 more home runs this year to create the 50-50 club? There's his 49th. That's in the 6th. It gives the Dodgers a 9-3 lead. And then in the 7th, the history-making moment, Joe Davis on the call.
On a 1-2, Ohtani.
Why are you pitching to the man? Why was it not a ball? You throwing meatballs out there.
And wait a minute, you think he was done? Think again.
You are watching this guy.
There's the cliche that you never know what you're going to see when you go to the park. You got to change that cliche from now on. There's one thing you know you'll never see, what you saw today.
All right, so the Dodgers will win this game 20-4. Oh, by the way, they clinched a playoff spot along the way. Ohtani was 6 for 6 with 3 home runs, 10 ribs, and 2 steals. Yeah. It is an unprecedentedly spectacular day, and it comes on the day that he creates the 50-50 club in baseball history. Buster Olney was with us earlier. He called it the greatest day and greatest season in baseball history. Jeff Mendoza and Jeff Passan will join us in this hour to discuss as well. In the meantime, from one transcendent star to another. Oh, A-Ron last night. Jets, Patriots, Rodgers. I'm going to call this his first game at MetLife. I'm going to pretend that one last year never happened. First quarter, the Jets' second drive, they get it going. His old buddy Alan Lazar.
Oh yeah, you read that cheat. Yeah, excuse me, sir. I got a reservation for 6 in the end zone.
Rodgers' first passing touchdown in MetLife Stadium as his Jets. The Jets take the early 7-0 lead. Second quarter, they converted a bunch of third downs on this very long drive. You loved this one, Bart.
Oh yeah, we call this sweet just getting started, showing that hey, I can get outside the pocket. I got a little bit of mobility left in me. Watch out, I'm gonna knock somebody down. Not so fast.
It's running up the field.
Don't get thrown off the club.
Don't throw a block, Aaron. Whatever you do. Meanwhile, Dan, 35 is another third down conversion. That one to Garrett Wilson.
I looked at a little bit of it. Yeah, I gotta look at the rest of it.
And it caps off with this. Please call. It is eventually ruled a touchdown after review. So it's a 13-play, 91-yard drive. The Jets' longest since December of 2021. No hug. No hug. Aaron explained it afterwards. He played it for you earlier. He says everything is fine with him as a coach. Certainly everything was fine on the field. Dan, look at him escaping pressure. Lamar Jackson. He's running number 8. 11-yard gain, 99.
When he comes to you,
11-yard pickup for Rodgers there. Later in the drive, 3rd and 3 from the 34. He's moving again. He can't stop him. It looks like Mahomes. Throwing on a run. You know what? He was Mahomes before Mahomes was Mahomes. That's Tyler Conklin. That's an 18-yard gain. Jets with 10 of 15 on third downs. And then finally, where's Garrett Wilson? There's Garrett Wilson. That is Aaron Rodgers' first ever passing touchdown to a wide receiver who was drafted in the first round. Incredibly, it was his 480th career passing touchdown overall. So the Jets pulled away, ran away, and it dominated the game. We will show you a little bit of the debut. It's Chris May. Thank you for asking. 3rd pick in the draft. This is a 4th down play. He came in, got his first NFL action. But most of the night for him and Jacoby Brissett looked like this. The Jets' defense, the pass rush, was dominant.
7 sacks on the night, Greedy. We eat. Who needs us already?
The Jets win it 24-3.
I felt pretty good tonight. I was doing some things I did as a younger man. So, I'd said that, as the games go on, I'm going to feel more comfortable moving around a little bit. And there were a couple times where I need to extend plays. So, trying to change this whole attitude around here. We're trying to build something special here. Get these fans to believe in us. They've been tortured for a long time. So, last year was obviously a tough year. It's good to be back, but it's great to be a Jet. Great to have nights like this, and even better to have a weekend off.
So look, I think we've been very restrained so far because as I've gotten older, I've tried very hard to mature. But there is one thing I do need to do today. And here we go. Aaron Rodgers with the single greatest performance of any Jet quarterback has ever had in my lifetime. I'm quite literally saying it with my chest. Ryan Clark, jump in here if you would, please, as I will proudly display the Aaron jersey that I've kept hidden all morning long, but I keep him close to my heart, as I see all Jet fans should. What did you see from number 8 last night?
Greedy, I don't necessarily believe all these things you believe about this performance, but my goodness, was it encouraging. This is what Jets fans have been waiting on, but I don't believe that this is the ceiling, which is the exciting part. Yeah, we watched him get outside the pocket and make plays. We saw him run down the field for no reason, probably, other than that he just felt extremely good to get the football out to Alan Lazard, to be able to run down the field and catch up with him. For Greeny and all of his family to be screaming, don't block, don't block. That's what we saw from Aaron. But we also saw pinpoint accuracy. We also saw an ability to find the right matchup at the line of scrimmage. We saw him have a chance to say, okay, now I'm being pressured in the pocket. Let me escape and push the football down the field accurately. That is Aaron Rodgers. That is who we grew accustomed to seeing in a Green Bay Packer uniform. But now we've seen him elevate the play of the people around him on a Jets football field in MetLife. And I saw the defense understand that we now have Aaron Rodgers, but we have to step up and be better too. And without C.J. Mosley, they were able to do that.
Yeah, and so look, the first game was a very tough night in San Francisco. You all got to see it on a Monday night. Last week, for those who didn't get to see the game against Tennessee, there were some signs in the second half that it was going to look a lot better. What did you see from Rodgers in particular? Again, that's the first, well, no, he had won a game last week. I keep saying that. But it's been 600 and something days before he really got it going. So maybe the idea that there'd be some rust would make sense.
I mean, I saw a master at the top of his game. You talk about completing 8 balls to 8 different receivers, 75%, the nuance of the game, the subtle things that only the greats know how to do. Moving the safeties and the linebackers with the side, being able to work into pinpoint accuracy, throwing off platform. All those throws when he's run out of his feet is never set. He's always been one of the most accurate quarterbacks while running. Getting the chemistry for the scramble drills, getting outside, showing that you can't play me like I'm Drew Bledsoe. I'm not a deer and stuck in headlights. And being able to make sure that he has masterful things. And with that being said, it wasn't even close to how good it could have been. He had maybe 3 or 4 passes where him and Garrett Wilson wasn't on the same page. But the fact that you can't just take Garrett Wilson away because I'll find a different way to beat you is encouraging for Jets fans. And allow that defense to be able to say, okay, you know what, we don't have our 2 pass rushers. We're going to blitz at 40% clip. And we understand that now we can do things that we couldn't do before because we don't have to play perfect. That is a huge burden off of a defense's back.
Graziano, the comparison that, of course, people are going to make is to Tom Brady going down to Tampa, taking over a team that was quite talented, but hadn't figured out how to win. Right. And that started slow. For those of you who remember the beginning part of that season, it was well after week 3 that Brady thought there was a 5th down, and we thought that maybe he and Bruce Arians weren't seeing eye to eye. He never shoved him away. We're looking for a hug, but that's a whole separate topic. Does this have that feel to you? That's what the fans of this team are going to be hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, look, you put me in a difficult spot because I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. Brady had won 6 Super Bowls.
Right.
Like, he was in the habit of winning Super Bowls somewhat recently when he went to Tampa Bay. Aaron Rodgers hasn't won a Super Bowl in 14 years. Like, right? Like, he's going to have high-level playoff success.
I'm going to make you say this staring at the gate. Go ahead.
Here's the deal. Yeah. I don't necessarily believe he can't have high-level playoff success at age 40. I think he's that good a player. Only one person ever has.
Right.
And that's the thing. So, like, look, everything looks, this is what it's supposed to look like. Last night was the Jets' perfect, like, I mean, that's, you imagine what it was supposed to look like. This was it. 8 different guys catching ball. Brees Hall didn't even have to be the leading rusher. Like, I mean, 7 sacks for the defense. Everything looks fantastic.
Really, you know what's interesting about the number 8? The most important statistic from a Jet perspective was last night he was 6 of 6 for 88 yards outside the pocket. And that's why that's so important. When you can break contain and get the ball down the field, that puts so much pressure. We got Bart, RC. They know how much that really impacts an opposing defense. If he can do that consistently with the 2 backs, they will be really hard to beat. The question is, can he keep this up throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, so RC, again, for those who don't know, I mean, you played against him in that Super Bowl that he won, and it was a very long time ago. There's been a lot of talk this year about how, well, Rodgers just needs to be a game manager. That defense is going to be so dominant. Last night they were. I think the season will likely show the Patriots are going to struggle on offense.
The line isn't bad.
A lot of the year, yeah. So I don't know exactly what to take away from that. But the Rodgers that we saw last night, some variation on that theme, is that good enough in your mind for this team to be a legitimate contender at the end of the season in a loaded AFC?
Yeah, I think they can be a legitimate contender. I believe that looking at this team thus far, Aaron Rodgers has to play on the MVP level for this team to be an AFC champion. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have to continue to elevate everyone. We obviously see that Allen Lazard is a better player when Aaron Rodgers is available. He's still working on that connection with Garrett Wilson, but I feel like it's coming that allows Garrett Wilson to ascend into that top tier of wide receivers. And Mike T mentioned this in the first half of the show, but Mike Williams now becoming a piece of this offense, catching 50-50 balls, being able to win his one-on-one matchup when he has the physical advantage is all important to this team. What we saw last night was that this is a roster offensively that has playmakers as long as there's someone that can distribute the ball, and we saw that. But Aaron Rodgers just playing good doesn't allow this team to win the championship. He has to be great vintage Aaron Rodgers that I played, that I thought was the best player that ever played the game, but he has to be a guy that can take a team and put it on his back.
I feel like the 8 was being blocked out by the topic bar there. I feel the need was just make sure the 8 is very fully recognizable. And
They saw it, Greeny. We can see it.
Yeah,
We can
noted.
see it.
Final word. Here's one thing I know I don't have to worry about. I know that Aaron Rodgers, if he's on one sideline and he's looking at Patrick Mahomes, he's not going to be intimidated like a lot of guys, not named Joe Burrow is. He's a guy that has answers to the test. He's a guy that has the experience and the arrogance to go toe-to-toe with that guy who we think is the baddest man on the planet in Patrick Mahomes right now.
Yeah, if it still looks like this in the end of December, beginning of January, then you have every reason to dream the biggest dream.
They're just getting started. Mike Williams is still on a pitch count.
The question is, will that jersey still be on in December?
I mean, there's no obvious reason why it won't be. No, look, I mean, the reality of it is just let him stay healthy. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. Take me instead. We need this so badly. Coming up, much more on an NFL Friday here, a football Friday, why the Eagles match up against the Saints. Could change the entire course of the season for Philly. We'll be all over that. Plus, much more on what could have been the greatest single day in baseball history. Where did it put Shohei Ohtani in the GOAT conversation? We'll ask Jeff and Jess that question. And then don't miss a very special edition of First Take, top of the hour, live from Howard University. Molly, Stephen A., Shannon, much more on Aaron Rodgers and his big night and everything else. It's First Take's first HBCU road show of the fall. And it's coming up right after we wrap up this morning on ESPN.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. Hey, watch it. It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face. Game changer. While the Flex disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience. The best the man can get is Gillette Labs.
At Papa John's, we start with better. Like our fresh, never frozen dough made from 6 simple ingredients. And our dough can save you dough. Get 2 or more Papa Parents favorites for just $6.99 each. Order now on the app from Papa John's.
Think we'll make it? Not likely, bro. Maybe I'll borrow some tech? Not likely, bro.
Whatever your goal, get there with the Lexus NX.
So this is pickleball? It's basically tennis for babies, but for adults. It should be called wiffle tennis. Pickle! Yeah, These guys are intense. We got nothing to worry about. With E-Trade from Morgan Stanley, we're ready for whatever gets served up.
Dude, you gotta work on your trash talk.
I'd rather work on saving for retirement. Or college, since you like to get schooled. That's a pretty good burn, right?
Got him. Game.
Thanks for coming to our clinic. First one's free.
You found an amazing bargain with this place. If you don't take it, I will.
The listing mentioned ocean views.
Yes, it's Ocean View adjacent. See that place? If you look through it, you'll see a gorgeous ocean view.
If it's important, it's not worth compromising, which is why with farmers, you don't have to compromise quality to get great savings on your insurance.
Oh, look, a seagull.
That's a thing. Seagull adjacent.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. CJ Stroud putting up points with My Lowe's Rewards.
He is really cleaning up. Come on, man. It's the car. He's got all the cleaning supplies in his car.
In store, online, our Lowe's team has you covered.
We really don't want people to think of feeding food like ours as spoiling their dogs. Good, real food is simple. It looks like food, smells like food. It's what dogs are supposed to be eating.
How'd I go to find a doctor when I'm hallucinating?
What about soft dog?
So many options.
Yeah, and Dr. Sheechan even takes your sketchy insurance. Sheechan.
You've got more options than you know. Look now.
Man, these seats. Right? Wonder how the other guys feel. We spent hours finding a deal on these. Trash. They should use Game Time. The easiest way to find only the best deals for the best seats with their Game Time picks. What time is it? Game Time.
Hurry up, agent. Only 20 seconds left.
But which one should I cut? The red or the blue or the...
Well, it's usually always the blue one.
But there's also a green one and a yellow one.
Oh, there. Red Bull. Behind you. Drink it now.
Of course. Too late.
No Red Bull, no wings. While others give you less, Domino's wants to give you more. For a limited time when you order any 2 or more medium 2-topping pizzas for $6.99 each online? Well, upgrade one to a large for free. Give more inflation, not shrinkflation, only at Domino's.
Life doesn't stop for a cold. Look, honey. Dayquil Severe Honey. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste. Dayquil Honey. The honeylicious daytime coffee making stuffy head fever power through your day medicine.
Shohei Ohtani.
On 1-2, Ohtani sends one in the air. The other way. Back it goes. Gone! One-of-a-kind player. One-of-a-kind season. Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Y'all are watching this guy. Oh my gosh! Shohei Ohtani! The greatest day in baseball history!
I don't think I've ever heard a play-by-play call just start with "Oh my God," but it really seemed like the only way to sum up what might have been the greatest day any player ever had. Ohtani, 10 RBIs, most by a leadoff batter since that became an official statistic in 1920. 5 extra base hits, tied for the most in any game since 1901. And as mentioned repeatedly, he created the 50-50 club yesterday. So we have Russell earlier, and we have Jeff Mendoza and Jeff Passan here to try and put into some perspective what we saw yesterday. Jeff, I'll start with you. Did he have the best day in the history of baseball yesterday?
The thing about us baseball nerds, Greeny, is that we revere particular games. I've looked at Sean Green's 6 for 6, 4 home run, 19 total base game as the greatest individual game in baseball history. And you could argue it's still better than Ohtani's because Ohtani had only 3 home runs, and one of them came off as a position player. But you add the steals, you have 2 stolen bases, and you add the context and gravity of the moment, where he is not only becoming the single-season home run leader for the Los Angeles Dodgers, one of the most storied franchises in all of baseball, but starting the 50-50 club. Yes, that was the greatest single performance I personally have ever seen in a regular season Major League Baseball game.
Jessica, you put together some tape. I mean, show us how this unicorn is doing what he's doing.
Oh, being around Shohei most of the season, one of the things about him is his particularness and emphasis on hitting a variety of pitches. I mean, I nerded out on, yes, next 6 hits, 3 of them home runs. But when you think about the variance of pitches, okay, so he takes the changeup. This is his first double, Greedy. So him being able to get around this pitch, all right, so he gets this all the way to the wall, off the wall. This is a home run by like 4 feet. And by the way, he's a little bit out front on his front foot. Left the first hit. Then his next double. Okay, so this is 95 off the hands. Look at the pitch location. Up and in. And this is Shohei to a T, the strength that he has. Now, slider, down low. This is at the knee. This is the first home run of the game, and he absolutely annihilates this pitch. And when you think about the pitch that he hit before and then, this one is my favorite. Nothing curveball, look at where he hits it. I mean, the power that he has, opposite field. So we're talking slider, fastball, curveball, the changeup. I mean, yes, all of the hits that he had, Greeny, but the fact that there was so many different kinds of pitches that he did shows you the type of hitter he is to be able to hit just about anything.
Well, look, I mean, we're hearing from a lot of the GOATs. And Jessica, I mean, quite frankly, you fit in that category. And by the way, your bling is one of the great flexes I've ever seen in my entire life. But you are, most people would acknowledge you're the greatest player in the history of your sport. Is he the best player you've ever seen? Accomplishments are accomplishments. As you watch him, is he the best player you've ever seen?
Yes, and it's about how he goes about his day. I mean, it's literally ridiculous when you look at the variance of all of the things, Greeny, that he does. And Passan just hit on this. Yes, the stolen bases. By the way, can we just mention the fact that this guy pitches? I mean, like, this is where we're forgetting. And oh, by the way, we will see him, I believe, pitch in October. Like, just mind blown at this point of all the things that this player can do. But being around around him, it is unbelievable what he does, the emphasis, and honestly, all the greats that are around him in that lineup and how they look to him being like, he's a whole other level.
You know, when you said that out loud, I can see Hembo. He just fell out of his chair, I think, and passed out. Jeff, is there a possibility, because I can't get a straight answer, do we expect to see Ohtani pitch in the playoffs this year?
Expect? No. But I will say this, Greeny. I got some video from a scout a couple days ago from one of Ohtani's most recent bullpen sessions. And in this video, I had to slow it down to take a look. And I was like, is he throwing a splitter? Is he throwing a slider? Is he putting his wide array of pitches to use already? And the answer is yes. So while I'm not going to say that Shohei Ohtani will pitch in October, he's sure acting like a guy who wants to pitch in October. And we can't forget, this is somebody who is going to be under contract reigning for another 9 years. So the Dodgers aren't going to put the postseason in 2024 ahead of his health long term. But I thought it was a really nice touch for everything to go down yesterday, because yesterday, Greeny, was the 1-year anniversary of Shohei Ohtani undergoing reconstructive elbow surgery, and he just so happened on that anniversary to have the best game any of us have ever seen.
Yeah, look, I mean, and let's put some finishing touches on this here. Think about the year he had. Think about where this year began. Think about all of the controversy before the season began with his best friend and all the money and all the things that have happened. Jeff, you're a sports writer and one of the best ones around. How do you write the story? What's the lead line right now on the story of the season, the 50-50 season that Shohei Ohtani has had?
The player who has made a career out of doing impossible things has once again managed to surprise us and take down a bunch of things that we never believed could happen in Major League Baseball.
And quickly, Jeff, does he cap it with a World Series? As they go into this postseason, we understand baseball more than ever has a randomness. Do you see them finishing this thing up with him on the biggest stage?
Greeny, I'm going to stick with what I started. I mean, I hit some helmets when we started this season with the Dodgers winning it all. And yes, there's a whole conversation there on what kind of team they have now versus then. But yes, this would be the picture-perfect ending of a story for Shohei Ohtani to have that ring at the very end of the year.
Guys, you were the best on a day where we're talking about the best. Thank you, Jeff Pass and Jess Mendoza. Sunday night, we got baseball coming your way. Big-time playoff implications as the Phillies play the Mets, 7 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, and ESPN radio coverage starts at 6 on ESPN2 with baseball tonight. Coming up, can the combination of Derrick Henry and the desperate Ravens team spell disaster for the Cowboys? We're picking Sunday's games. Our group is split on that one. And then after we wrap up today, special edition of First Take, top of the hour live from Howard University. Molly, Stephen A. and Shannon talking about Aaron Rodgers and a whole lot more as they do their first HBCU roadshow of this fall. That's top of the hour here on ESPN.
Turn that too. They're salty, they're sweet, balanced breaks, can't be beat. Fruit and nuts for you. Natural cheese and crackers too. All together in a pack. The delicious balanced snack.
Sargento, we're real cheese people.
As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa. That's a rule.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, when other vacation rentals make you share your turf with a host, try one that's all yours.
You know the most exciting thing about life? It's how you can change it. How you can reinvent yourself. Take on new challenges. So go ahead. Reimagine yourself. We did. Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks.
Super smooth Starbucks cold brew. In a can, what else is possible? Perhaps finding your perfect match. Too good to be true? Can be true. New Starbucks cold brew.
It's Jimmy John's new Mediterranean wraps, made with soft hummus and feta cheese, so you can enjoy fresh summer flavors with every bite. Hey, Clouds, beat it. Much better. Now, at Jimmy John's.
Let's get started. Bill, where's your map?
I really tried
sleeping with it, everybody. Now I sleep with Inspire.
Inspire? No mask?
No food?
Just sleep.
Learn more and view important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Yo, spot on. These are prime time deals. This, or this?
Oh, $5. Legendary.
These deals? Prime time? Only at KFC. We back, baby.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush, Oral-B Electric cleans better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head hugs them, cleans them, and gets in between them for 100% cleaner teeth. Your perfect clean starts with Oral-B.
You can't just sell at one place at once anymore. You gotta sell it all. Changing teeth. Businesses that want to win, shop.
The one selling Rapid Ceramic Paint Sealer. Seal and protect your paint with unbelievable gloss, shine, and slickness in less than 30 minutes. Simply spray it up and lightly buff it with the included microfiber towels. Look at the rich gloss with endless depth and mirror-like shine.
You can hear it. This side over here has clearly been treated, rolls right off. This side not so much.
This is very nice. And it took you how long to apply it? Like 10 minutes? And then it just set? Wow, and it looks much healthier too. That's very nice.
Look at the difference with Cerakote's true hydrophobic ceramic technology. Water just blows right off. The level of gloss and slickness is unbelievable. With over 40,000 five-star reviews, Cerakote is guaranteed to be the glossiest, slickest, and easiest to apply paint sealant you have ever used. Buy any of Cerakote's ceramic products for under $20 today.
Bottom of the hour, we are back on Get Up, and let's keep it rolling with some football here. Sunday statement. Who needs to make a statement this Sunday? Ryan Clark, I'll start with you. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy, and not because we don't know enough about Brock Purdy, but here's the time that he can show he can step up for his team when he doesn't have the perfect situation around him. No Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel banged up, George Kittle missing practice yesterday. This will be his chance against the Rams to show that he doesn't need everyone around him to lift him up, that he can lift up the people that need him most. Yeah, that team is going to be decimated here early. Mike T, who needs a statement?
Derrick Henry early and often. Last week he had 79 or 84 yards in the second half. Dallas gives up the most rushing touchdowns, 5. Get Lamar Jackson under center. He's only been under center about 18% of the time. Get under center. Get Derrick Henry involved in the first half and exploit this porous Dallas run defense. That's how Baltimore has a chance to get back on track.
We're going to dive deep on that game in just a few minutes here. Groz, who needs to make a statement Sunday?
Jared Goff. The Lions are believed to be a Super Bowl contender. They're 1-1. Jared Goff hasn't played well. He's 25th in the league in QBR, just behind Justin Fields and Daniel Jones. Jared Goff has to be better than that if the Lions are going to be as good as they want to be. This is an Arizona defense that can be had. He needs a big game this week.
Good stat. Bart, who needs to make a statement this Sunday?
Well, Green, attitude reflects leadership, and the unquestioned leader on the Philadelphia Eagles team now is Jalen Hurts. And I'm not blaming him for last week's loss, but he has to be the difference in games where the other quarterback on the sideline is ranked probably lower than you and Derek Carr. He's going to have to be the difference. No Jason Kelsey, no Fletcher Cox. He has to make sure that he can lead them and navigate them through tough waters, unlike last year when they collapsed.
Well, so let's dive into that. And we started it earlier in the show this morning, and we ran out of time. So now we have a moment to get into it. RC, you were there on Monday night for what was a horrible loss. That's a terrible game to lose if you were the Eagles. And the time for talking about whether they made the right play call, wrong play call, that's all over with. Here's what I do know. At RC, we all spent all offseason talking about how will the Eagles handle adversity. With all the stuff that happened to them in the second half of last season, how will they well, they hit adversity. So what is your sense of how they get through it? What is your sense of what is at stake for them this week?
And not only have they hit adversity, they're playing a team that seems to understand their identity more than any other team in the entire NFL right now in the New Orleans Saints. I think this is going to be a gut check week for the Philadelphia Eagles. How do you show up to the stadium? What sort of energy and attitude does this team have? And if they do get down, if they give up a big play on defense, who will be that guy now that Fletcher Cox is going to step up and make a play? Will Bryce Huff finally have a showing in this game? Is C.J. Gardner-Johnson going to be that emotional leader on the back end? And can Jalen Hurts elevate this offense enough that if he's not getting what he needs from his defense, they can still find a way to win? This won't make or break the Philadelphia Eagles season if they go out and approach it the right way. But that remains to be seen, because what we saw after that 10-1 start last year was absolutely unacceptable.
There have been a lot of questions about leadership there, right? Jalen Hurts taking sort of control. Questions about the head coach and all of that in the wake of last year's collapse. What are your thoughts?
I mean, that's what I was trying to allude to earlier. You talk about losing those leadership, so now you're the guy that people come to and lean to when things get tough. And Jalen Hurts has to make sure that he's able to elevate and be a force multiplier with the people around him, because I don't know how much these guys believe in what they're being told from an offensive defensive side of the football. They're learning two systems. So now you got to have somebody that can keep everybody together. He has to be the voice, but he has to continue to do it with his play. He has to be able to inspire guys as well.
All right, I got to push back on that. They're a Saquon Barkley drop away from being 2-0 with two new quarterbacks.
But we're here. But we're here already. But what I'm saying is, now they face another team that maybe you can get 2 losses. No matter how you got there, you get 2 losses back to back. And we saw this team not handle adversity well last year. You talked about the relationship between the head coach and the quarterback. We got to keep everybody pulling the rope the same direction, because we know what happens. You can have fractured locker rooms and people start talking. And that seems to be what happened last year when they fell apart.
I really think the problem's on the other side of the ball.
It is.
It's a team that
he's responsible for that too.
No, absolutely. But you bring in Vic Fangio, making one of the highest paid defensive coordinators, has all this experience. Like, that's to me where the conversation should be. What Jalen Hurts is doing, again, they did everything within reason to win that game, and then Atlanta goes down in 5 plays, 90 yards to win it. Like, that to me is where the problem is.
And by the way, Dan, against a struggling defense like the Eagles have, you saw up close and personal what that Saints offense might just do.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think the fact that the Eagles are 1-1 or suffered a tough loss is because of some systemic problem in their locker room, right? Like, I think their locker room's okay. Most teams are kind of like the Eagles right now, right? They're still kind of feeling their way into the season, figuring out what they want to, ineligible man downfield penalties. I mean, stuff they need to clean up and likely will. Unfortunately for the Eagles, they have to go on the road and play one of the teams that is humming, like is already in mid-season, not dipping its toe into the season. Like, the Saints are locked in right now. So I think the Eagles could lose this game, absolutely. I don't think the important thing for the Eagles is whether they win or lose. I think it's how they look and how they feel. I mean, RC was absolutely right. Like, what are they like getting off the bus? Like, how prepared are they for the game? They could play great and get beaten on Sunday.
Let's put the picks up on the screen so we see what everybody thinks. Will they find a way to bounce back? That is a clean sweep saying no. RC, quickly, why do you like New Orleans?
The Saints are just so dang good. When you watch the way Clint Kubiak had this offense humming, it is like, it's almost like watching 2 different offenses based on what they want to do to you. If they want to come out and punch you in the mouth and hand the ball to Alvin Kamara, they can dominate you physically at the line of scrimmage. If they want to push the football down the football field, they can max protect Derek Carr, and he has an arm and there's a freaking track meet on the outside with Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. I love everything about this team, and not to mention, they've always been championship caliber on defense since DeMario Davis has been there. But right now, they run and they hit and they cover like nobody's business defensively, and it's being fed by an offense that can put the other team behind on the scoreboard.
So no one likes the Eagles in that one. Let's stay in their division. Monster game for the Cowboys this week as they take on the winless Baltimore Ravens. Both Dak and Lamar Jackson trying to bounce back in a big way in Arlington. Cowboys, of course, have allowed 92 points in their last 2 home games, while the Ravens are trying to fall into the kind of hole that almost no one digs out of. Let me give you a stat here. In the last 25 seasons, 129 teams have started 0-3, and the 2018 Texans are the only ones who turned that around and made the playoffs. So, guys I do Sunday Countdown with screamed at me last week when I suggested that something could be a must-win in week 2. Is this a must-win for the Ravens in week 3?
I believe so. And they have to also come to grips with what they identity is, and I think they struggle with that. I think it's still Isaiah Likely, 12 personnel we saw last week. The throws down the field.
What should their personality be, Bart? I'm making you the coach. What should their offense be for them to get where everyone thinks they should be?
But for me, stand on brand with what the organization has always been. It's been about running being able to get favorable down the distance, commitment to the run, and being able to take shots over the top. I think it should always start with the ground game. The unfortunate part is they gave two of their best linemen to the Jets, and now they're struggling trying to find what combination they can have to be able to move guys off the ball.
Greedy, Darryl Austin said it earlier in the week, you put Lamar Jackson at the center with those two tight ends, give the ball to Derrick Henry. Now you have play action to Zay Flowers. Lamar's healthier and they're more explosive. And again, he only has 2 touchdown passes, so that's their problem. They can't convert and score touchdowns, and that's why they need to change their personnel.
Well, I mean, that brings up the predictability of it. RC, let me come to you as a great defensive player for a long time, and let me explain for those who didn't see it. What Dan Orlovsky has basically said is the Ravens have the biggest tell, literally and figuratively, in the NFL, which is that when Derrick Henry is on the field, they go under center and they run it every single time. And when he's not on the field, they go into the gun and they throw it pretty much all of the time. So you tell me, what's this going to look like this Sunday against the Dallas team that has been shredded on the defensive side?
Yeah, so they do have a tell, but when you look at that game, especially probably in the middle of it, second and third quarter when they got some things rolling, there was play action with Derrick Henry in the game. Some of his bigger runs in the second half were from the gun and from the pistol. And so I'm not saying that Todd Monken and this team figured this thing out, but there were some good signs that said they could continue moving forward with playing in a way that makes Lamar Jackson comfortable. I think to totally change everything you do and make Lamar Jackson, who played under Bobby Petrino, so he was in spread and could see everything from the shotgun in college, and then now in the league, you built everything around him, so he was a shotgun quarterback. To say he's going to go into center and live there is difficult. I think you mix it in, but if you find a way to allow Derrick Henry to be successful in what makes Lamar Jackson comfortable, and that's the way we're moving, and that's who I believe the Ravens will be.
So as we put the picks up on the screen, Graziano, I'll admit, I'm surprised by your pick. You covered the game last week in Dallas. You saw that defense get humiliated. I don't even know what the right word is to describe it. Why do you like the Cowboys in these games?
They were humiliated by an offense that knows exactly what it is and what it wants to be. And I think all the conversation we're having here about the Ravens, it underlines the fact that they aren't yet, right? Like, are they going to be able to go under center enough to get Derrick Henry going? If they do, Lamar Jackson's uncomfortable. Are they going to be able to run Derrick Henry out of the shotgun? If they do, then Derrick Henry's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, so they're still piecing together how much of each element they need, and they're doing it with 3 new starters on the offensive line, and that is taking a lot of adjusting, and they're doing it with a new defensive coordinator and some changes on that side of the ball. It's just a team that doesn't feel like it's all the way together yet.
Let me give a number. Stick, give me my ear again. The Cowboys are a 1-point home underdog in this game. What's the last time they were an underdog at home? I saw the stat before it came in, and I forgot what it was. It goes back. It was Tom Brady coming in as a Buccaneer against the Cowboys, and I believe Dak didn't play in that game, right? That was against the Cooper Rush Cowboys, if I remember correctly. Or that was the last. Oh, sorry, that was the last time Dak was a home underdog. We're doing this on the fly that much, so that's the last time. So these are pretty rare games. Super quick.
I'll give you another stat. Dallas is 12-2 after a loss since 2021. I know Baltimore is desperate, but so are the Cowboys.
Yep. Yeah, and Bart is picking Baltimore because he's Bart. And we can always
Lamar Jackson's record against the NFC, he doesn't lose to the NFC. Let's pull that stat up too, Mike.
He needs a chance to play them at the very end of the year. That's what he needs. We'll see what he does on Sunday. WNBA playoffs tip off this Sunday. We'll have all 4 first-round games. The Dream and the Liberty, 1 Eastern on ESPN. Beaver Sun, 2:30 on ABC. The Mercury play the Lynx at 5 on ESPN. And the Storm and the Aces will tip off at 10 Eastern on ESPN. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers with a vintage performance. Did he put the rest of the AFC on notice last night? We'll answer that question after we see if Graziano can answer this one. Who was, prior to last night, the last Jets coach to beat the Patriots by at least 20 points in a game? The answer is next.
Honey. NyQuil Severe Honey. Powerful cold and flu relief with a dreamy honey taste. NyQuil Honey. The Honeylicious nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, best leave with a cold medicine.
Whether you're looking for courtside or upper deck, comedy or concerts, with Game Time Picks, you make buying tickets easy by serving up only the best deals on sports, music, and shows. What's
Big Peter Monster.
What about Sock Doc?
Sock Doc.
Dr. Costello has a great bedside manner.
So many options.
But Dr. Shi-chan will take your sketchy insurance. Shi-chan, 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 Shi-chan.
Thanks, bro.
You've got more options than you know. Look now.
You found an amazing bargain with this place. If you don't take it, I will.
The listing mentioned ocean views.
Yes, it's ocean view adjacent. See that place? If you look through it, you'll see a gorgeous ocean view.
If it's important, it's not worth compromising, which is why with Farmers, you don't have to compromise quality to get great savings on your insurance.
Oh, look, a seagull.
That's a bit seagull adjacent.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
At Papa John's, get an extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $10.99. It's a mouth-watering, stretched thinner, made bigger, more for your money. Extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $10.99. Better get you some Papa John's.
We really don't want people to think of feeding food like ours as spoiling their dogs. Good, real food is simple. Looks like food, smells like food. It's what dogs are supposed to be eating. No living being should ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
It's amazing to me how many people write in about their dogs changing for the better. The farmer's dog is just our way to help people take care of them.
Think we'll make it? Not likely, bro. Maybe I'll borrow some tech? Not likely, bro.
Whatever your goal, get there with the Lexus NX.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. CJ Stroud putting up points with My Lowe's Rewards.
He is really cleaning up.
Come on, man.
It's the cart. He's got all the cleaning supplies in his cart.
In store, online, our Lowe's team has you covered.
Bottom line, bro. Replacing your cost thousands. Not covered by homeowner's insurance.
Honey, wake up. Here's Tom Wilson, CEO of HomeServe.
A plan from HomeServe pays for the covered repair costs for water lines, and we send a qualified contractor. The American